Hi. Hello people. Do you like my new microphone? I'm gonna let these dogs finish what they have to say. So, fact that you may or may not know about Hungary is people keep their dogs in their front yards here. It seems to me that these dogs are not really walked ever, and they seem crazy. Like they seem, I don't really see the difference between having one of these kinds of dogs where you never walk them and having like a street light that goes off when burglars are outside, because essentially isn't that what these dogs are for? They're like used as burglar alarms. I feel really sorry for them, honestly. I feel like they're like trapped, and don't get me wrong, I think like walking dogs on a lead twice a day isn't good enough either. Like ideally dogs will be out on the streets and that, but that is a story for another day. I've got this weirdest setup here. So in the divorce, Tambay took the YouTube camera, the camera that we use for YouTube videos, which had this really good like flip up screen, and I've kept the camera that we use for taking photos because mostly I was the one taking photos with this camera and he was the one making YouTube videos with the other camera. And I should just get a new camera, but I haven't in 2 years now that it's been since we broke up. I haven't got around to it. So what I'm doing now is I'm using my phone as a microphone, this camera, which I hope is still in focus, as a camera, and then I'm using my laptop behind to check that it's still in focus. You don't need to know these things. My point is I apologise if you find this video to be like bad quality. Know that I don't really care. But actually I do care, because I think that's partly why I haven't made a YouTube video in so long. It's hard to like set it up when you can't see your own face. After I made the video Are Travelling Weasels Breaking Up, or is Travelling Weasels over, which I think now was over a year ago, because yeah, it was January 2019 and it's now October 2020. I wanted to do one like a year later to be like, oh look, this is what I'm doing now, like this is how I've changed or not changed or whatever. But then obviously the coronavirus hit, and wherever I thought I was at in January has completely changed, and I feel like it's actually always changing, and that's partly another reason why I haven't been making YouTube videos, because I feel like I shoot something, I go to edit it, but by the time I start editing it, it's, even if it's like the same day, I'm kind of like, do I even feel like that now? An hour later, and then by the time I've properly finished editing it, I really don't feel the same. There were also like kind of aesthetic reasons. I've tried to shoot like maybe 5-6 videos between I just haven't posted them to YouTube because they're just, for one, either I didn't really agree with them or whatever, I haven't posted them. And it pains me to say this, that in some of the videos, the reason I didn't post them was because whilst I was editing them, I was like, oh, I look like ugly, or like, I don't like how I look here, or I look tired, or I look like one of my eyes looks different to my other eyes. But I've been really preaching on Instagram about how it shouldn't matter what you look like, and all this aesthetic stuff is just bullshit, because companies profit off you feeling shit about yourself. Like the razor companies, the makeup companies, the hair product companies, all these kind of things. And over the last couple of years, that is one of the ways I feel I've changed a lot, is that I'm trying to no longer care what I look like or how others might see me. And don't get me wrong, this was something that I was doing before Tambo and I broke up, but it was much more behind the scenes. Like there would be days where I wouldn't wear makeup, and then Tambo and I would make a video together, so I put on all the makeup, and it was like a mask or a costume or whatever. And through Instagram I've been able to like take off that mask and be more real with people, and I want to extend that to YouTube as well. But of course there's always the like, it's different when I'm writing something to when I'm filming, or when I'm like taking a photo of myself or someone's taking a photo of me and then I write something later. It's completely different to when you're filming yourself, when you're then editing yourself. Like it's all the things at once. It's the what you're saying, how you're saying it, what you look like, aesthetic issues, which I'm really like, I find it really sad that about myself. I mean, I understand it, like it's kind of I feel like our whole society kind of dictates that, like women are supposed to look a certain way. And it was really interesting to me personally when Tomasz and I released the armpit hair video, because to my Western friends it was so not radical, it was boring even, it was like not interesting, it was like no new news, like okay, everyone knows about this, like what are you in are you like in the first year of learning about feminism? Whereas for a lot of my YouTube viewers, they were just like, what is this? This is disgusting, this is awful. And it was amazing how polarized it was. The two polar sides were like, that's repulsive, I can't watch it, or that's boring, that's been said before. And there was like no, there was a cautionary like, what am I actually saying? Because if I'm going to polarize people into being either repulsed or bored, why am I even making videos? And I really went back to like why I started making videos in the first place. And although officially like the reason we started making videos was to do something interesting every day, to like make ourselves do something interesting when we first went to Southeast Asia, there was a second reason, and that was people were asking us to make YouTube videos. We'd been going live, and that was kind of getting popular, and people were like, why don't you make YouTube videos? You should be a YouTube couple, like you have Instagram, you have a blog, but why not YouTube? So, and then fast forward to like a couple of years ago, and people were just like, I just felt like people didn't want me to make videos, and I wasn't even sure if I wanted to make videos. And if you don't want them and I don't want them, then that's not really like, but you've clicked on it, you've got this far, I've got this far. So I do think I have a platform here that I'm trying to utilize for good, and I find doing that in itself is quite problematic, because obviously with my country's history, we do seem to have a reputation for going places and saying, hey, you know what, you should do it this way, and then just making it worse. Like I do feel inherently sometimes that Brits have this like need to help, and they give unasked for advice, they implement things that are unasked for, and ultimately it wasn't even helping the Brits in the first place. So like, I do of course have this drive to help people, but I am cautious that my help is often unasked for, and it's often like not even the best way to help someone. So like, even if you ask me to help you and I help you, it might be the help that you don't need, but then ultimately it's my responsibility to only give help to people who ask for it, and it's the responsibility of the people that ask for help from me and get help from me, that they recognize that my help might actually not be helpful, or even the fact that it's not helpful might in itself be helpful because you learn a lesson in the long run. Or this brings me on to another reason why I wasn't making videos. It was just like, I felt like so confident in the past when I was making videos, like this is who I am and this is what I'm saying and this is where I'm going. Whereas now I'm much more like, I'm trying to be more open-minded, and I'm just like, am I sure about that? Is anyone sure about anything? What is anything? I do think I've had a kind of perhaps like a existential personality crisis or something, because ultimately I met Tammy when I was 14, and then when we broke up when I was 26, it was just like, wait, what part of my personality is me? What part of my personality is like him and me? What part of my personality do I not want to be? Like, who am I? What? And then even when I like pulled him out of it, I mean, like when I tried to like scrape him out of who I identified as, it was still like, okay, but is this who my parents wanted me to be, or is this who my friends want me to be, or is this who society wants me to be, or my teachers, or my grandparents, or whoever it is? And who I am changes every minute. Who you are changes every minute, every second, whatever. It's just like roll with it, really. Like, I think it's okay to like make YouTube videos that I may or may not agree with in a year's time, or even a week's time. And I want to thank you for even watching this, and who knows, this might be one of these ones that doesn't make it onto the big screen. I want to invite you to tell me, be it by commenting below or DMing me privately, like I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, whatever. If you feel connected to this video in any way, if you feel like you're not really sure who you are or what's the point of life. People change, and I do think there is a kind of, to lesser or greater extents, depending on the country or even the continent, there is a kind of adversity to change, and in my experience, embracing it and jumping straight head first into it is much more gratifying and freeing than shying away from it and trying to preserve something that once was, or even trying to go back to something that once was in the past. Like, time is relative, totally believe in that, but as we collectively seem to all agree on time to a certain level, I think we should be looking forward positively, taking what we can from the past and taking the good aspects of it, but essentially understanding that we'll never go back to what once was, and all we can do is be hopeful for the future. Like, take good parts of the present, take good parts of the past, and leave the crap behind. Just create something new and beautiful, because that's what humans are, creators, in like a, not in like a kind of godlike way, but in a, or a controlling way, although we do of course tend to that. Ramble. So yeah, my point of the day, thank you if you're for watching. It means a lot to me. It helps me make more videos. It does encourage me to make videos. So if you enjoyed this video, if you like this video, then I will feel like I've done something good with my day. Please let me know what videos you would like me to make in the future, and I will do any and all that I want to do. How about that? There's a deal. Tomasz and I are still together. He's actually out in the garden doing gardening, and I hope you've all been like keeping okay. I know this is a weird time and nobody really knows what's going on, but I hope you've been able to use this time to find out more about yourself or more about others or something. Bye.